All righty, want to welcome everybody to the September 4th, 2024 Unionville Town Board meeting, and we'll start with the pledge to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, the republic, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. Okay, with the short work week, we didn't get any minutes for the approval, and they'll be on the next meeting. I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda and add a short employee handbook discussion as D in under old business. It was something I meant to speak about last meeting and neglected to. Make the motion. And a second on that? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. We hosted the Hudson Valley Balloon Festival here this past weekend. I was told by Frank there with the Chamber of Commerce that we had over 22,000 visitors here over that 3-day period. And they handled it all very well. And if you look outside today, you can hardly tell anything had happened here. They did a real nice job, both coming in and coming out. And it was very well attended. Everybody said what a beautiful town we have. I want to remind everybody again, there will be a September 11th memorial service at the Burbank Firehouse on Route 82 at 6 p.m. on September 11th. And we have an upcoming Oktoberfest, annual Oktoberfest that we host is going to be September 15th this year. That's 2 weeks from now. And that's from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. And also starting to work on the 2025 budget for next year. Board member reports. Councilman Welsh?
Nothing this past.
Okay. Councilman Carlini?
Nothing to report.
Councilman Derlin?
Nothing to report.
Okay, Councilman McGibney.
I'd just like to say, I attended the Balloon Festival at Sheldon Timeware Park this weekend. I have to say, Frank Costello, it's a really fine-tuned this event. It seems to get better and better every year. Something new that was new this year was discounted tickets. I hope the residents took advantage of that. At this year's festival, I had the opportunity to crew a few balloon flights. Both very fun and rewarding. I highly recommend that experience if you're ever given the opportunity. Secondly, I'd like to extend a big thank you to Vincent and our parks staff for stepping up and helping out to get our parks ready for an event of this magnitude. I'd like to also thank the Unionville Fire Company for providing a fully staffed ambulance and volunteer manpower for the whole duration of the weekend. It was also nice to see some of the fire department members volunteering to crew some of the balloon flights. I'd like to also acknowledge our town tax collector, Kay Sagelbenny, for making phone calls to rally the troops to get the volunteers needed to assist with the balloon crews for balloon deployment and balloon chase navigation. I would also like to thank George Treadwell and our constables for providing professional and courteous security details for the event. I believe this year's Balloon Festival was a great successful event, and I'm looking forward to attending next year's festival. As Steve had mentioned, we have Oktoberfest coming up on October 15th. It's a Sunday in Timeware Park. It's another great event and September 15th. And it's another good event that shouldn't be missed. We hope to see you there. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Town clerk report. Okay, thank you. Councilman Welsh, would you like to read the recreation report?
Oh, I think that's okay. For update on 9/4/24. Congrats to the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce for another successful Hudson Valley Balloon Festival held at Timeware Park this past weekend. We hope that everyone enjoyed the fun weekend and the multiple hot air balloon launches. Look forward to next year's event. Our team is excited to host the town's annual Oktoberfest event at Timeware Park, scheduled for September 15th from noon to 7 p.m. Tickets are $5 per person, and children 5 years old and younger enter free. Residents, family, and friends can enjoy a day of traditional dramatic food, drinks, games, music, and dancing. We will have tickets available to purchase for a raffle prize, a full-size grill, and contest prizes for our chicken dance, the new bratwurst toss, and Stein hoisting competitions scheduled throughout the event. More information on these competitions and prizes can be found on our social media pages. Additionally, we once again have an NFL room where we will be projecting and streaming your favorite New York team football games during the event. Resale tickets can be found by clicking the Oktoberfest flyer onto the town's website. There will be an option to purchase tickets at the door using cash or credit. We look forward to seeing everyone there. As we start to step into autumn for parks and recreation, social media pages will be posting updates on adult and youth programming within the coming weeks.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Carlemi, would you like to report park report?
Yes, Park Report 9/4/2024. We're almost exclusively been preparing for the Balloon Festival that was this past weekend and our upcoming Oktoberfest that is on September 15th. The Balloon Festival went well. Frank Costello and his team are always very easy to work with. They work very hard to clean up after the park event and leave it better than when they arrived.
Next, you have items. Thank you. New business. There's a resolution here. I just want you to look over. Ted, do you want to explain what this is about? And I'll add a little to it as well.
You guys. So we've been talking about it, I've asked for a couple of years now. We, as a town, we're only getting $1 for late payments, for second mailings. Throughout the county, they're getting $2 for sending out that second notice. I did call the supervisor of tax collectors in Dutchess County, and it seems across the board, besides us and one other town, municipality that's taking the $1 fee for collecting. We experienced ourselves just this past year an increase 3 times for sending out that one letter. So at this point, it's costing us money because just in the past year, we sent out 140 late notices from April. So what I'm hoping for is we could at least increase to the $2 amount. Where Steve and I were having a discussion, and I would really want the board's input on it in regards to going maybe even a little higher. Or
Right.
I'm stuck.
Yeah, the
It's
postage,
costing us too much.
the postage alone is 68 cents currently. And that's bound to go up as well. Then, you know, you have envelope cost and her time
So, yeah,
to do these things. And my thought was $10 to cover the administration expense. But, I need to check with the county on that. Apparently they're involved in this and find out whether or not they have limitations on it, because as she mentioned, the rest of the county is at $2.
everybody's, it's
Well,
Just us.
$2 or less.
or less, okay.
Yeah. I need to find out whether that is a restricted limit or not, but in my opinion, I think we ought to be recouping the administration fee on that as well. Yeah. You know, not to sock it to anybody, but you know, we shouldn't be
All they
covering.
have to do is pay on time.
Right. And there's no added expense. And that's an incentive then to get it here on time as well. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like we should be eating the administration costs of
No.
sending out late notices on these
Right.
things.
No, not at all.
So we'll come back to this again at probably the next meeting, and I'll have some more information.
Okay.
Andrea did print out a resolution. for you
Right,
guys
yeah,
to
you just
look over,
review
and
that.
then once we get a dollar amount, you know, for the future, we need to just square this up. Because postage, Andrea looked back in history and she couldn't come up with when it even got bumped up to the dollar. So,
Okay.
you know, we as a town, we don't want to hit people, but you know, they're delinquent.
Right. It shouldn't be costing us
It
either.
shouldn't be costing us.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so old business. We all agreed to purchase the surplus equipment from the county. This resolution makes it official record. And, Councilman Derlin, if you'd like to read that, please.
Sure. Do we know what number it is?
27, I'm sorry, I meant to tell you before we started.
Town of Unionville, Town Board Resolution number 27 of 2024, authorizing purchase of surplus equipment. Whereas Dutchess County holds auctions throughout the year of surplus vehicles and equipment, with the auctions being handled by Absolute Auction and Realty, Inc. And whereas the town of Unionville was the successful bidder for certain equipment at such an auction held recently. And whereas the town board of the town of Unionville approved a motion authorizing that purchase at a meeting held on August 28th, 2024, with the intention that a formal written resolution would follow. And whereas this document constitutes that formal written resolution, whereas this action is a type 2 action for secret purposes, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby ratifies the action taken by motion at the August 28th, 2024 meeting, and confirms the authorization for the purchase of a John Deere 544 GTC loader for the sum of $11,000 and a John Deere 6330 tractor with a boom mower for the sum of $2,860 for the total sum of $13,860, with payment being made from budget line D 5130.4, equipment CE, or other appropriate budget line. Be it further resolved that the supervisor, highway superintendent, and bookkeeper are authorized to execute any documents and take any actions reasonably necessary to pay the sum due and obtain the equipment from Dutchess County.
Second on that, please.
I'll second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we got a good deal on this stuff. Okay, so that brings us to the discussion of the town code RD 10. We had the attorney-client meeting, and it had been suggested that perhaps the best way to resolve this would be to remove conference center from the allowed uses and add the catering facility, comma, banquet hall, including wedding venue in its place. And these would be subject to special use permits. The draft has not been prepared yet, and he also had suggested that we come to terms on the restrictions that we'd like to put in that should be part of the resolution as well. I don't know if you want to have a discussion, towards the meeting here on the special use requirements. I didn't have a chance to gather up what already applies. I'd like to do that and then, discuss whether that would be suitable going forward. Or perhaps we have a workshop session between now and the next meeting to get that, so we get to get this rolling.
Yeah, I know some of the things we discussed is, we have to, since it's got to be a special permitted use, we're going to put conditions on the special permit. That's some of the things that we're discussing: noises, setback from residential houses, screening, parking, and some of those things are what we're looking to discuss to put on conditions of this use in the area. Since it isn't technically in a residential zone, we want to make sure that any residents that are within the area of something like this that can be constructed are protected from the use being intrusive on
Right.
residential buildings. So,
And these use permits would give the planning board some leeway in determining whether the use fits the particular piece of property.
Yep.
So it's a safety buffer for everyone. And that's something we will look at again going forward. Recycle center fees, you had mentioned last week.
Yeah, to try to get a little more revenue, add fees for air conditioner and refrigerators, $10 per unit.
Right. And yeah, I think that's a good idea going forward, and it's something we could implement at the first of the year.
Okay.
something that I had looked at and talked to Pete about is the, membership coupon, so to speak. You know, the permit that you buy to put in your windshield, the annual permit. Right now it's set up that in January, it's $100 fee regardless of when you buy it. So what I was gonna suggest, and apparently this has caused some issues with Pete, and them being able to sell these things, is perhaps at July 1st, where the, resident permit is $75 for the annual, we make it $40 from July through the end of the year. And, I would leave the,
Senior.
yeah, the senior discount, I cut that in half. You know, it's $50, make it 25, leave it, you know, so that doesn't penalize the seniors, but the outside residents, you know, that are not residents, non-residents is $100 and make that 60. It might help bring in
Sure,
more
yeah,
permits.
yeah.
So with the permit, right, you get a certain number of bulk items every year, right? Don't you
Two.
get
Two.
So only. Yeah, so if we're gonna discount it in July, I don't know how complicated this is. Should we limit it to one?
One, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had asked about making the permit good for a year regardless of when it was purchased, but that was gonna be a bookkeeping, nightmare for her, yeah, so. I think this is a compromise.
Yeah,
In
that
that.
makes sense, I think. And then one of the things that I've discussed with you, Steve, earlier is, I don't know if we have any locked in rates for our fees for the recycling center. So, you know, at any time they could go up. You know, so that might be something we
Yeah.
want to look into too, because we might set fees and then who knows, in February, our bill could get increased for the recycling center, so that. might
Yeah,
be
we've
something-
already just been in discussion with them because of the upcoming budget.
Yeah.
And, they've been good to us in the past, but
They
like
have.
you mentioned, that may change.
Yes,
And a lot of those fees are dependent on what fuel prices. You know, we can do the best we can to get that, but I don't know how much, you know, we would have to be able to pin them down on it. Okay, I will draw that stuff up, to pass at a future meeting then. And then I wanted to discuss the handbook again. What I forgot to mention at the last meeting is that number to make a full-time employee. And it's at 32 in the handbook currently. The way our hours are set up, they can, you know, a full-time person would be here, the building hours are set up, would be 28 hours. So I thought maybe split it and make the requirement 30 hours or more. And someone could either come in a half hour before they open or stay a half hour beyond. And, that would have little impact on us as far as payroll is concerned. But it would, you know, wouldn't open up the floodgates for people coming in
Yeah.
to get the benefit package either. Right.
yeah, I mean, that's my only concern, right, is who could it open up to? If it doesn't
Right.
open up to many people and.
It doesn't, and at our current hiring, you know, capacity, what we have available, it doesn't change anything anywhere, except that, you know, we combine those two positions, which, you know, ended up being a good thing for us.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense. Let's pin it down and let's,
Yeah.
town hours are only 28.
It's
so-
something that's been playing havoc with our payroll clerk because she does, you know, she needs to assign it with that affects the pay type.
We're only open 28 hours, so.
Right. Um, one other consideration, and again, it doesn't impact anyone here. I checked on that. At 30 hours, then 15 becomes the number. 15 hours or less becomes the number for a part-time employee. And what I learned then is anyone working in between the 15 hours and the 30 would be subject to competitive, bidding, so to speak, on the job through civil service. Yeah, they'd have to be, take the civil service test. We have one position here that is gonna be affected, and we believe that she's probably not working in the proper title to start with, which is the payroll. We call her the payroll clerk, but, on the book, she's as an account clerk. That's something we're gonna have to look at and address. And she's well aware, and okay with the idea that she would have to test on that. And it wouldn't change regardless of it being 32 or 28.
Oh.
It still falls outside of that range. Okay, any comment on public, on town issues? Any public comment on town issues? Okay, how about a motion to pay the bills?
So,
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. And our next meeting will be September 18th here at 7:30 PM. Thank you for coming.
okay, motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It's got to be close.